pretty hype decks coming into the new season, so not really surprised to see them here.
Yeah. Off of these 6 cards, Jonathan will likely be looking for a way to find another Beldum, maybe get a Alolan Vulpix out. Alolan Vulpix with that beacon attack is just such a good way for these Metagross decks to get set up. It looks like he did find an Ultra Ball. We'll see which one he grabs here. Could be a Beldum, could be a Vulpix. Getting rid of 2 Metal Energy also very good for this Metagross deck.
Yeah, definitely. Metagross's ability attaches a Metal or Psychic Energy from your discard to your active Pokemon. That's how it accelerates energy, so obviously you want to have an ample amount of those in the discard pile here. So pretty good opening start from Jonathan.
Yeah, just about all you could ask for. You know, I think a lot of these Stage 2 decks really were hurt by the loss of Bridget to the rotation. They really needed that card in order to get their setup going. But we see here on turn 1, looks like Jonathan's going to be able to get 2 basics into play. Looks like he's favoring a Beldum potentially right now. This is also his first deck search, so he's going to take his time and try to make sure he knows what is prized, what he has access to throughout this game. It looks like he will just opt for another Beldum here. With that, I believe a Conductive Body ability gives it 1 less retreat for each Beldum in play.
Yeah, Beldum is smart here, obviously. You know, you can put Vulpix down anytime, but with the Beldum now, that means he can evolve it in the next turn. So he'll pass to Vinny.
And over on Vinny's turn, going to be looking for Ultra Balls and Mysterious Treasures in order to get his Inkays into play, so those can become Malamars later on in the game. Also going to want to try to find a Lily probably on this first turn, the ideal first turn supporter. Acrobike to get things started. Also, gotta respect Vinny's deck here. It looks like he's got just about everything blinged out. That brand new gold Ultra Necrozma from the Dragon Majesty set. Pretty cool stuff to see.
Yeah, Vinny is definitely ready to ball here with these cards. So, yeah, you know, he's going to kind of try and do the same thing as Jonathan. He's going to just get Inkay down. You know, obviously he'd like something like 2 of them. Discards an Ultra Necrozma, but doesn't really care about that. Just wants Inkays.
It looks like he does have an Ultra Ball here in his hand, and I like the sequencing there of playing Acrobike before you use your Ultra Ball. See what you get off the Acrobike first. If you find an Inkay, then maybe your his hand. Rangaroo is great later on in the game, but he's already had to put 2 Tapu Leles in play, and this is a matchup where he needs the Dhelmise, so he might not ever have the luxury of being able to bench the Rangaroo.
Yeah, in addition to that, Metagross requires 3 energy to attack, so the optimal setup is to have 3 Metagross, but you can do it with 2, but it requires you to hard attach every turn. So he also maybe wants to think about getting another Metagross or a Beldum into play at some point.
Ooh, and it looks like he's gonna get rid of that Dhelmise. He does play 2 copies of Rescue Stretcher, so maybe off of his algorithm this turn he'll opt to find a Rescue Stretcher to get the Dhelmise back, so he can take a 1-hit knockout potentially. Does have Rare Candy, plus that Metagross he just got, so 2 Metagross in play. Pretty solid setup. Can attach, and can instruct for 3, so we'll see what he gets off these 3 cards.
So he attaches to the active, and now he's going to use double Geotech system.
Instead of an algorithm, looks like we're just going to see a Giga Hammer swing for
Setup from Jonathan. Only has one Lily down, or Lele down as well, so
Much better turn one from Jonathan Crespo here in game 2.
he'll be able to use Geotech System next turn even to attach to retreat the Delmise. So this is looking pretty good for Jonathan.
We'll see what Vinny can do over here on his turn. His deck also really wants to use Lily on the first turn. Mysterious Treasure right away. We'll see if this grabs a Tapu Lele GX or potentially an Inkay if he already has a supporter in his hand.
Yeah, of course, Vinny. Kind of flexing on Jonathan a little bit. Got the gold Mysterious Treasure, gold Psychic Energy.
I wonder if the Malamars he's using are the staff pre-release promos or just the regular pre-release promos.
I mean, only the best for Vinny, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Looks like he's eyeing up. I believe that is an Inkay, so we'll just try to get another one of those down this turn. He knows his active Inkay is probably not in too much danger of getting knocked out. Next turn, I guess an attach plus a psychic or a Geotech system could mean that Delmise can actually knock out an Inkay, but we'll see. I think Jonathan would want to value his setup more so than just taking the first prize in the game.
Yeah, definitely. Takes that Inkay. I do see another. I see a Lele in his hand. I don't know if that's a supporter in there as well. It looks like a Cynthia, I think, in his hand. So maybe he's opting to Cynthia here.
It looks like he's debating between Cynthia or using Lele for Lily. And this is, I think, a decision that we're going to see a lot of players have a hard time making the decision on. Although he does Ultra, that actually can help Jonathan a lot here.
Yeah.
Letting that Delmise retreat and get an energy attachment somewhere else. I guess in some way, though, it does stick to the energy on the Delmise where you'd rather have it in the discard pile so you can use Geotech System, but you're not really attacking with Delmise too much in this matchup anyway.
Yeah.
So it looks like he did opt to go for the Lily. You know, he did have, I believe, like you said, he had the Cynthia in his hand, but it's just going to go ahead and opt for the Lily. This sets him up with 5 cards off the top of his deck and gives him a supporter for the next turn. So I like this from Vinny, being able to leave himself with options next turn for sure.
He has a lot of money in his hand, but I can't really tell what it is. Got an Ultra Ball here, that's good. Can get, I guess, probably an Ultra Necrozma. Maybe attach that Psychic to it. I guess he's going to discard that.
Yeah, I think he definitely wants an energy attachment this turn, but looks like he's going to opt to discard the Psychic instead, maybe valuing the other cards in his hand a little more. And we'll see what he wants to get down. Looks like he's eyeing up that Ultra Necrozma. See if it comes into play.
I do see a Guzma in his hand, so, you know, I didn't see a Metal Energy, but, you know, maybe it's just hard to tell. So I guess he has a switching effect to get this Inkay out of there, but I don't know what else. I would have liked to see an energy attachment.
Yeah.
He's got a Beast Ring. Spending these beautiful psychic energy.
Looks like he will go ahead and attach to the active and play a Cynthia here, shuffle his hand into his deck, draw himself 6 cards. And on the other end of this Cynthia, what do you think he's going to be looking for? What does he want the rest of this turn?
Probably, for sure Malamar. I think he wants another Ultra Necrozma, so he can start using Malamar's ability and attach to that, to the benched Ultra Necrozma, so he has some sort of follow-up to this play. But we're looking, and there's an Ultra Ball and a Mysterious Treasure, so this is pretty good. He'll be able to get, an Ultra Necrozma and a Malamar. It'll cost almost his whole hand, but he does have a Lele, I think, so...
Yeah, I think he also drew a couple of supporters there. So he'll have the option to play a supporter next turn still.
Takes a Malamar.
Go take a Malamar.
Yeah. Yeah, that Full Art Lily is also worth way more than the Sun and Moon base Full Art Lily. So definitely as valuable as possible.
Yeah, I'm almost certain those Malamars at this point are going to be the staff promos, right?
Yeah. They look way cooler. Definitely a status symbol.
So see, it looks like he's debating another card to play out of his hand. He did have an Ultra Ball in addition to the Mysterious Treasure, so we'll see if he does want to go with that. Looks like he's going to opt to hold it. He doesn't want to just get rid of his whole hand this turn, I think, which I can understand.
Another thing is that Vinny does have the B-String as additional energy acceleration. So he can get an Ultra Necrozma to knock out a Metagross kind of out of nowhere on this next turn. Maybe he's hoping that Jonathan will knock out the Ultra Necrozma right now so that he can activate the B-String. He has not used Malamar's ability yet. I think I would Psychic Transfer to the Dawn Wings, just so you have that free retreat option the rest of the game.
Yeah, it sort of just becomes a huge mobility for him the rest of the game. One of the things about this deck that I didn't like was that it felt kind of hard to find a turn where you can get an energy on the Dawn Wings to utilize it for the whole game.
Yeah.
But now, this against a slower deck like Metagross, Vinny's able to utilize that. Could use Invasion here and maybe send something else to the active so he doesn't put this Ultra Necrozma in harm's way. He also could hit for 100 damage here. We'll see which one he wants to go with.
He's eyeing it. Just kind of showing us.
He could, bring up the Lele, because, he doesn't want to sacrifice an Inkay, but then if you bring up the Lele, you're giving up 2 prizes. It kind of feels bad, whatever he wants to do here.
He does retreat to the Lele. If you're going to give up... I think he wants to give up the Lele because it does activate the B-String.
Yeah,
and it's the least valuable GX on his board. Jonathan, of course, is fine to take the knockout on the Lele, because it's 2 prizes.
Yeah, and we just see right away, off that algorithm, able to get 2 Metagross GX in play, and 3 Metagross now total on the board for Jonathan. He'll be able to have just full mobility of his field, using Geotech systems, retreating between turns after using Giga Hammers, and if he can find a Choice Band here, he'll definitely be able to knock out Tapu Lele GX.
And this is definitely Jonathan's ideal board. He does have the Delmize as well, and he has a Ranguru for additional draw, so, it's kind of what he wants to knock out this turn. I do see a Guzman, but I don't think he has the energy, like maybe an Ultra Ball and energy to knock out something on the bench. Of course, he needs to get more energy in the discard if he wants to do that, but he can knock out this Lele this turn, I think.
Yeah, should be able to, as long as he has a Choice Band there in his hand, which... Oh, no, looks like he's actually...
Guzma, the Malamar. This is interesting, and he's going to take a knockout with the Delmize. This is pretty smart, actually, from Jonathan.
This does 2 things here for Jonathan. One, it's taking Vinny's energy acceleration out of play, but it's also going to play around that potential B-String from the next turn, like you were talking about, that Vinny could have pulled off. He's only going to take 1 prize as opposed to 2. Now Vinny's not going to be able to use B-String next turn, and it could be difficult for him to find the pieces he needs to respond to this from Jonathan.
Oh, he's opting to just retreat into the Metagross again.
Okay. Could have taken the knockout there with Delmize, but I think he wants to keep it in play because he wants to be able to knock out the Ultra Necrozma.
Yeah. He does take the knockout here. So now, Vinny will need another Malamar, an attachment of a Psychic Energy, and then the Malamar Psychic Transfer to knock out the Ultra Necrozma. So, now that's an interesting play. If he had the Delmize in the active spot still, he would only give up 1 prize with this play.
But then it also... Vinny needs less to get a knockout, I guess. But as Jonathan, I guess you probably don't really care as much. You definitely want to. You would rather preserve Delmise for sure.
Right, and
it's
you have
very
rescue...
easy to get Delmise back with rescue stretchers.
Right.
Metagross is much harder to set back up.
Yeah, but I guess maybe he's, Vinny hasn't really done much. He only has, I guess, 5 cards now, so I guess maybe Jonathan was hoping he doesn't have, like, a supporter play or something, but he did see Vinny discard a supporter last turn, so, he has to have something there. He Ultra Balls, probably grabbing that Malamar.
It looks like he's just going to go ahead and discard his other Inkay here, so he's only got 1 Inkay left in the deck, 2 in the discard pile, 1 in the active, so... Looks like he is going to eye the Malamar up, like you said, and I think the last card in his hand is a Cynthia. Oh no, Lele.
Lele. This will be a Cynthia or a Lily. They'll do the same thing here.
Yeah, since he has no cards in his hand, I think you definitely want to go for Lily over Cynthia because it's less likely that you can utilize Lily to its full effect later on in the game, but you can always utilize Cynthia to its full effect, but maybe he doesn't actually have any more Lilies in the deck. He's played 1, discarded 1, 1 could be prized.
Yeah, in addition to that, I think Full Art Cynthia is worth significantly more than Full Art Lele. Kind of like going Sycamore for 7 here. Just a little bit of a flex. No high 5, but that's still solid.
So
I don't see a Psychic Energy in his hand, I don't think.
He has discarded a few, so it could be a little more difficult to find them at this point. Acrobike can dig, though. Let's see. I think he Acrobiked into another Acrobike, so he could keep digging here, potentially. It's actually kind of hard to tell, though. It could also be a B-String. Both of them are just gold and red and no other colors, so... Looks like he will discard a B-String.
You take... We don't know.
Yeah, getting a knockout on this Metagross would just be huge for Vinny at this point. Jonathan would need an attachment from the hand in addition to the double recharge plus a choice band, so he needs a pretty decent-sized card combo for the next turn. Looks like Stretcher here can get an Inkay back, so that's pretty good. He's going to get an Inkay, put it right on the bench. We could see him go for like a Hypnosis here on Inkay, put the Metagross to sleep maybe. See if that could be something he goes for.
Pretty interesting play.
But no, looks like he's just going to go ahead and start powering up this Ultra Necrozma on the bench.
Oh, he does have a Psychic.
He's got
didn't
it.
See that. Oh, this is big.
Invasion.
Jonathan was not expecting this. It doesn't kill his setup or anything, but...
Taking a Metagross out of play is huge for Vinny here.
Yeah, and now, even if Jonathan knocks out this Ultra Necrozma, Vinny gets access to B-String still. So he can power up the next Ultra Necrozma, without a problem. I guess he did discard B-Strings. I don't know. This is definitely not what Jonathan wanted to see after knocking out that Malamar.
Yeah, that was a huge turn from Vinny for sure. We'll see what Jonathan can do over on his side. Has a Nest Ball in hand. Looks like a Rescue Stretcher as well. Going to just go ahead and shuffle back the Metagross line. Have access to that later on. Nest Ball brings the Beldum back down onto the bench. And yeah, this turn he needs an attachment from hand. He's got the 2 Geotech systems, and he needs a Choice Band. So off these 6 cards, Energy Card, Choice Band, that's what Jonathan Crespo is going to be looking for.
And this turn, it kind of calls back to opting to knock out that Malamar with the Metagross. Vinny would have needed less to knock out the Delmise, but he even had the Stretcher to get it right back. So, he does have energy. I didn't see Choice Band. He does run 3 copies. He's retreating to Metagross. I assume he has it. Double Geotech, attachment, and the Choice Band. There it is. Perfect.
Giga Hammer hits exactly 190 thanks to the Steelworker ability from Delmise. We'll take 2 prizes for Jonathan, and Vinny could be in a tough spot here. He might be in a spot where he needs to use Dawnwing's Necrozma's GX attack, Moon's Eclipse GX. Does 180 damage. Metagross is resistant to Psychic. It's not going to get a knockout on Metagross or anything, but it does make the Dawnwings immune to damage on the next turn, so maybe he could buy a turn.
In addition, if he could find a Guzma, he could Guzma up the Lele and use Moon's Eclipse.
Yeah.
Take 2 prizes there, and then put Jonathan on an even faster clock.
See if we can find it. He's got Mysterious Treasure, but he's already got 2 Lele's on the board. He does play 3 copies, though, so maybe that could find him the card. But no, he's actually going to discard the Mysterious Treasure, keeps on digging with these Acrobikes. Looks like he has a Psychic Energy, and I think maybe an Ultra Ball.
He opts to discard the Ultra Ball now.
keeps the Psychic Energy. He already has a decent amount of Psychics in the discard, so he can utilize Psychic Recharge.
Guess I'm wondering what he's digging for.
May have been looking for that Guzma you were talking about. He is behind on prizes, so he could utilize Moon's Eclipse GX. Yeah, we'll just see what else he wants to go with. Maybe he knows his other Lele's prize. That might be why he didn't keep the treasure. Or he already had a treasure in his hand. So off of this, looks like he's going to set up another Ultra Necrozma.
Mysterious Treasure grabs Psychic and Dragon-type Pokemon. Very powerful effect. A lot of times, people just assume it only grabs Psychic because it usually just targets Lele, but it does grab Ultra Necrozma, which it makes the whole deck flow really, really well.
If Vinny could get a knockout
Does have
here,
the Beast Ring.
oh, this is going to be a big turn here from Vinny. As long as the energies are in the deck that he needs, he can get a knockout. Needs one Psychic Energy and a Metal Energy. Looks like there's a Metal from the hand, or from the deck. No Psychic Energy, though. So he wants to attach one Psychic from hand at this point and then use the double Psychic Recharge.
He does have a lot of Psychics in the discard, but I think he has a Psychic in hand. He's eyeing a card here. Too shiny to tell.
And yeah, he can use those 2 Psychic Recharge, put 2 Psychic Energies on this Ultra Necrozma, and then use Invasion with the Dawnwings Necrozma, attach a Psychic from hand. This is huge here. Vinny has gotten his ideal setup basically both games, and yeah, just kind of take a knockout on this Metagross. It's going to be pretty difficult for Jonathan to respond to this one.
Yeah. What makes matters worse, Vinny just discarded probably over $100 to the discard there. So, yeah, I mean, he can take another knockout here if he has another energy and a choice band. So, Jonathan isn't out of it yet, but
he needs to find those cards to get a knockout this turn. He has the choice band in hand. He needs to find a basic energy, though. He did get Rare Candy Metagross, so that was one piece of the puzzle. If Jonathan is unable to knock out this Ultra Necrozma, it will be pretty difficult for him to win the game at this point.
Yeah. In addition, he has to kind of be cognizant of that Dawnwings on the bench. If he takes the knockout here, he'll be ahead on prizes, which triggers Moon's Eclipse GX. So, every turn that Jonathan has kind of taken a knockout and set himself up, he was doing it with the hopes that Vinny didn't have the perfect response.
Ooh, I like this play from Jonathan here. Guzma, he retreats into the Metagross, then plays Guzma. He's going to use double Geotech System and take a knockout here on this Malamar. Off of B-String turn, Vinny is going to have a lot harder time getting a bunch of energies on this Ultra Necrozma.
Yeah, definitely. And now, Jonathan is kind of back in the driver's seat because now he only needs to take a knockout. And he has a choice spin, so he can knock out a Lele or that... or the Dawnwings, or even the Ultra Necrozma. So, very smart play from Jonathan. I guess maybe he was planning that the whole time.
Yeah, it works out perfectly for him. 2 prizes apiece. That Moon's Eclipse GX is no longer on the table for Vinny because he is not behind on prizes. And I don't think Vinny has a way to... if he could get a Psychic Energy from hand plus a Psychic Recharge and a Guzma on the Tapu Lele, that would be enough to get him the game. But he hasn't played it out yet, so I don't think he quite has it.
He also, I don't know how many energy he has left. He did only B-String for 1 metal last turn, so maybe he's saving the Psychics for a turn like that, but I'm not really sure. We'll see what he does.
See where he wants to attach here. He's debating. Looks like it's going to be the Ultra Necrozma. Does have a Psychic Energy in his hand. If he has the Guzma, he can win the game here, but I don't think I saw it. Even an Ultra Ball or a Treasure could find his 3rd Lele if it's in the deck.
I think he would have played it by now if he had it. He's kind of sitting there thinking, but maybe he's just making sure he has it. Plays Cynthia. So
no Guzma this turn. And interesting, he went ahead and committed his Psychic Recharge to the Ultra Necrozma before playing Cynthia. I mean, you never know if the 6 cards you get off Cynthia could change your mind about where you want to put your energy, and you can always Psychic Recharge, but probably not going to make a difference here.
He has a Lele. I think there is a regular Guzma in there as well. I think I saw a Golden Choice Band. We haven't seen that. I'm not sure what the value on that card is.
Definitely a lot. And this is going to be a big turn. I think Jonathan is going to need to honestly win the game this turn. I think if he doesn't win this turn, then he should be able to find what he needs to take his last prize. Ooh, but this is actually also interesting from Vinny because he's taking the knockout here on Delmise with this Ultra Necrozma. Jonathan needs to find his last rescue stretcher in order to bring it back, in order to get a knockout on this this Ultra Necrozma.
So now Jonathan draws Candy. Not a card you can play. Really what he wants to do is find cards you can play to get him in range to start drawing with Orangaru's Instructability. He's thinking about a choice band to the active, but if he does that in Guzma's, he loses that effect, so
yeah,
maybe
I don't
not.
see an energy in his hand. I'm not sure what his supporter options are this turn. Looks like he has a Lele, so he could get whatever he wants out of the deck, but with only 2 Geotech systems available to him, Guzma can't win him the game. There are energy cards in there. Looks like he's eyeing it.
Guzma. If he has an energy in hand, he does win, because he'll be able to pull up a Lele or a Dawnwings Necrozma and knock it out by just doing 180. So, but I don't see the metal energy in his hand.
Yeah, I don't think he has it. So he has to accept here. Okay, looks like I'm not going to be able to win this turn. What can I do to give myself the highest chance of buying another turn, right? So maybe something, he does play Judge in his deck. He could try to Judge Vinny this turn. Could try to Guzma stall something. It looks
does
like
opt for the Judge.
Yeah, Guzma stall actually won't work because he does have that Invasion and the Altar of the Moon in play, but
Especially a choice band. Interesting play here. You know, I didn't see if a stretcher was still in the deck, but if it was, you know, maybe you go for Cynthia here and try and win. But I guess
he's played a decent amount of Cynthias. He does only play 3 in his deck, so off these 4 cards though, if Jonathan does find an energy plus that last rescue stretcher, he could win the game here in game 2. I don't think I see those 2 cards though.
However, with a lower hand size, he does have the ability to get into a Rangaroo range. I think I see an Ultra Ball.
Yeah.
So he might be able to get a fresh 3.
Yeah, looks like he does use Ultra Ball here. Can get a Beldum out or just anything out of the deck, and can instruct for at least 2 cards, maybe 3 if that last card is playable. Ooh, looks like he's actually eyeing up Duskbane Necrozma. Gonna opt to take nothing though.
So now if I'm Jonathan, the only card I want to see is Rescue Stretcher. He's thinking, is that an energy in his hand? No, it's a choice band. So now he needs to get energy,
3.
Stretcher. Don't see it.
Not quite.
But
so at this point, what do you do as Jonathan? I think you have to Geotech system twice to the active and just pass here. It feels real bad, but at least it'll be pretty difficult for Vinny to... Vinny doesn't have a way to win the game on the Metagross this turn. He would need a Psychic Energy plus a Recharge plus a Guzma on a Lele, so Metagross is not in danger of being knocked out.
well, actually, Vinny's only at 1 prize, so if he just gets an energy and a Guzma, he can knock out the Oranguru with the Dawnwings. With Dawnwing's regular attack, Dark Flash,
I believe so.
And that'll take the game. But you know, Vinny has gone through so many Psychic Energy. He does only run 8. He has Beast Energy, however, which does act as a Rainbow Energy for Beast, Ultra Beast Pokemon.
Looks like we'll just see a Choice Band to the active. What else does he have in his hand? I see that Tate and Liza in his hand. Maybe he wants to use that for its first effect, shuffle and draw 5, if he doesn't have any cards he likes in his hands. Could also use the switch effect, potentially. Looks like he's just debating what he wants to do here. We're going to see an Invasion. Can't leave that Dawnwings in the active, though, because then Jonathan just Geotechs one more time and wins the game.
You know, I'm not really sure with this Invasion. I probably would have just waited until you make a supporter play.
He may want to just, like, hold his supporter for the turn. Like, I'm not sure. He maybe has something like a Guzma. Maybe wants to bring up a Oranguru and hit it. It does have 2 retreats, so Jonathan would still need an energy from hand. Looks like he is going to play a Guzma. Oh, but Jonathan here could actually Geotech system a Psychic to give a Oranguru free retreat, and then still have access to another Geotech system to get the energy he needs on Metagross.
Yeah, so he's going to just do 100. Here's where Max Potion will come into play for Jonathan, of course. Heal off that tanky Oranguru.
So he does have an energy that he drew for the turn. Can he play his hand down? He needs that rescue stretcher here if he wants to get the knockout. Maybe, ooh, he has Nest Ball here. Could get out something like Duskmane. He is behind on prizes, but he did already use his GX attack this game, so he would need 4 energies in order to attack with Duskmane. So he's just going to fail that Nest Ball.
Attaches to the Metagross. He
has the
opts to
Duskmane
play
in
it
hand.
down. He's going for Guzma, I think. Doesn't hit it, but he has a max potion, so you know that's fine too.
Can get that one more turn.
So we
Just have to see what happens here. So it looks like he did max potion, get rid of the damage on a Rangaroo, and is able to bring up that Metagross. Gonna hit for 180 here. 10 damage left on that Ultra Necrozma.
We're kind of in that awkward stage of the game where both players are kind of limping along to try and just find that last piece to score the win. Both players look like they're kind of running out of gas here.
Yeah, it's actually really good that Jonathan, you know, it might seem kind of silly to use a max potion on Edward Rangaroo with 100 damage on it, but Vinny does have Guzma in his hand, so if he had not done that, Vinny could have won the game here. So it ends up being a smart play from Jonathan, taking that win condition from Vinny off the board.
Now, if I'm Vinny, you know, that's one Guzma down, and now he's kind of back in the same position. You know, he had to know that Jonathan had a way to retreat the Arangaroo with the Ultra Moon, with the Psychic Energy, with Geotech System. So, you know, he does have, I believe, a Shining Lugia in his hand, which is a non-GX Pokemon. So he could buy another turn.
It does need 3 energy to attack, however, and with only 1 Malamar in play, he wouldn't be able to power it up necessarily right away.
Well, he could just put it in the active.
Yeah, fair.
Because John is at 2 prizes, and just buy him a turn to use Psychic Recharge still. You know, Jonathan now needs to find a Guzma to reset his Metagross. The effective Giga Hammers at Metagross cannot attack next turn, so...
Tate and Liza here.
Tate and Liza.
Gonna shuffle and draw 5. We saw him use it for that second effect in the first game, and now here in the second game, using it for that shuffle draw 5 effect. Just giving him another supporter option. And we'll see off these 5 cards. What does he find here?
If I'm Jonathan, you know, I guess
It looks like he is going to do what you were kind of saying. Not with the Lugia, but he's going to send up the Malamar. And it looks like he might just have to pass for a turn.
You know, I don't know if giving up this Malamar is what you want to do.
Oh, there's
just
the
top decks
Guzma.
Guzma.
Use his Geotech system, is able to retreat the Lele or a Rangaroo, and is able to take the winning knockout there. So we're going to a game 3 here. Looks like we just have 10 minutes remaining in the round.
That was a real grindy game.
Yeah.
You know, both players kind of raced out to a quick set of prizes and then just kind of hit the brakes. Couldn't find a way to take those last couple of prizes, but you know, that was a much better game for Jonathan. But now he's going second, which means that Vinny, you know, already kind of a faster deck, will have another turn to start taking prizes.
Yeah, it's really difficult, I think, for the Metagross tech to play 3 full games in 50 minutes, right? It's a much slower Stage 2 deck. Vinny's deck, however, like you said, can be more aggressive if it needs to. And if I'm Vinny here, I'm just going to be playing as quickly as possible and try to rush knockouts as fast as I can. And we'll just have to see what he wants to do from there.
Yeah, Dawn Wings, kind of going along that line of thought, Dawn Wings will be really useful in knocking out Beldums. It's a very efficient attack. It just does a flat 120 damage. So he can maybe steal some chump prizes and then pick off big threats later. Does put Dawn Wings down. I think he kind of recognizes how useful it'll be. You know, scars a Psychic and a Beast Ring.
Yeah, so we'll see here. What does he want to get with his first Ultra Ball? So they're actually, we've just been informed they are actually in turns here. Vinny is going to be turn 1 of time. So, I mean, he could definitely win on turn 3 if Jonathan has no other basic Pokemon. He needs, an energy attachment this turn, energy attachment next turn, and a psychic recharge. He can use Dark Flash, so gonna be really big here for Jonathan if he can find another Pokemon to put down.
Yeah, definitely. And Jonathan, if I'm Jonathan, all I want to do is just put basic Pokemon into play.
Yep.
Just deny Vinny the ability to win the game, and walk away from this one with a tie.
Yeah.
Every time Vinny thinks about taking an energy, it kind of bends them a little bit. These energy are way too valuable for that sort of thing.
So he's actually going to attach to the active, which, I mean, I guess if you're going for the win next turn regardless, like if it doesn't matter for anything else, you can... Oh yeah, it looks like there's a basic coming down. So yeah, he has the option to just take a knockout on Beldum, and looks like we are just going to see a tie here from these players.
Jonathan doesn't even use Wonder Tag, doesn't care.
Yeah, he knows this is going to be a tie at this point.
Vinny opts to draw blood anyway, and they do tie.
Yep, so unfortunate way to end round 1 here in the Oaks, Pennsylvania for the first regions of the season is a tie, but a great game from both players. Game 2 was definitely a